All right, let's just jump right in. I want you to think about some of your strongest, most vivid memories. The ones that feel absolutely undeniably real. Now, what if I told you that some of those core memories might be completely, utterly wrong?
Do you remember this one? I mean, it's probably the most iconic line in all of Star Wars. You can hear James Earl Jones's voice in your head right now, can't you? That deep, booming voice.
Okay, how about this one from Snow White, the evil queen, staring into her enchanted mirror? You know the line. We all do. It's a classic.
Or what about this? How do you remember the name of this famous bear family being spelled? Take a good look. Was it Berenstain or Berenstain? Really think back to when you were a kid.
Okay, so here's the thing, the part that's gonna blow your mind. Every single one of those memories is wrong. In our current reality, Darth Vader actually says, "No, I am your father." The Queen says, "Magic mirror on the wall." The Monopoly Man never had a monocle. The Fruit of the Loom logo has no cornucopia. And Pikachu's tail has always been solid yellow. Oh, and those books? They've always been spelled Berenstain. If this is freaking you out a little, you are not alone. Not by a long shot.
So, what's really going on here? Are our brains just glitching? Or are we somehow remembering a version of the world that no longer exists?
Well, there's a name for this bizarre phenomenon. It's called the Mandela Effect, and it gets its name from one of the most widespread and, frankly, unsettling shared memories of them all.
You see, thousands upon thousands of people all around the world share this crystal clear memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison back in the 1980s. They don't just remember it happening, they remember watching his funeral on the news. But as this timeline shows, our official history tells a completely different story. That he was released in 1990, became president of South Africa, and passed away in 2013.
So that leaves us with two just staggering possibilities. Are millions of completely unconnected people somehow sharing the exact same, very specific false memory? Or could something be fundamentally wrong with the timeline itself?
Okay, so let's tackle the first theory. This is the official story, the one you'll get from mainstream psychology. It's a concept called confabulation.
Essentially, our memory doesn't work like a perfect video camera. Think of it less like a recording and more like a Wikipedia page that your brain is constantly editing on the fly. When there are gaps, your brain tries to be helpful by patching the hole with information that seems plausible, creating a false memory that feels 100% real. Yeah, this leaky hard drive analogy is pretty perfect. Our brains just fill in the blanks with what seems logical. The Monopoly Man is a rich tycoon, so of course he has a monocle. Our brain just gives him one. Luke, I am your father, is just a bit more dramatic and direct, so our memory corrects it. It seems like a simple, logical glitch in our own mental software. Case closed, right?
Well, not so fast. Because that nice, neat theory of confabulation, it just completely falls apart when you look at one of the most baffling cases of the Mandela Effect.
Get this. Thousands of people swear, they absolutely swear, they saw a 90s comedy called Shazaam, starring the comedian Sinbad as a bumbling genie. They remember specific scenes, the poster, the cover of the VHS tape at Blockbuster. The problem? That movie does not exist. It was never made. And no, they aren't just getting it confused with the Shaq movie Kazam. They are adamant about it. So how do thousands of people independently fabricate an entire movie with the same actor and title from nothing?
And this is where things get weird. This is where we leave the nice, comfortable world of mainstream science and go way out to the fringe. Theory 2 suggests these aren't memory errors at all. They're proof that our entire timeline has shifted. And the prime suspect for literally breaking reality? Turns out it's the Large Hadron Collider at CERN. The theory goes something like this. Back in 2012, when scientists at CERN fired up the Large Hadron Collider to hunt for the Higgs boson, the so-called God particle, they might have done more than just find it. By smashing particles together with that much force, they might have accidentally, punched a hole in the fabric of space-time, causing our reality to merge with a slightly different parallel universe. That year, 2012, is everything in this theory. It's the branching point. The idea is that we all woke up one day in a new reality. But some of us, we're still carrying around the memories of the world we came from. We're like refugees from a dead timeline.
So let's just put these two theories side by side, right? For the Monopoly Man's monocle, psychology says your brain just filled in a logical gap. Timeline theory says no, in your original universe, he actually had one. For the Star Wars quote, confabulation says your brain just corrected it to be more dramatic. Timeline theory, it says the line was simply different where you came from. And for the Berenstain Bears, psychology blames a common spelling error, while timeline theory suggests reality itself got a patch update and the name was literally changed.
And that leads us right to the doorstep of an even bigger idea: simulation theory. What if our reality is nothing more than a super advanced computer program? If that's the case, then the Mandela Effect isn't a glitch in our brains. It's a patch update to the system. The programmers changed a bit of code, and our memories, they're just the leftover cached data from the old version. Our brains just haven't cleared the cache yet. And that just opens up this huge, fascinating, and maybe even terrifying question. If our world is a projection, if reality can be rewritten, can we learn to rewrite it? Can we hack the simulation?
Now, for decades, this was all just a wild sci-fi idea, a fun thought experiment. That is, until a document was declassified that suggests the US government not only believes it's possible, but they may have figured out how to do it.
You heard that right. A now declassified report from 1983 shows that the U.S. Army Intelligence Command actually commissioned a study on something called the gateway process, a method for altering consciousness to, in their own words, travel through space-time. And their official conclusion, written right there in the document, the technique is plausible and it works.
They claim to have proven that consciousness isn't locked to our bodies or even to this dimension. So, what exactly did they find out there? What happens when you leave the simulation? And what does their manual teach us about the true nature of our reality? Well, you're going to have to join us next time because we're opening the gateway.